So good morning to everybody. Today's class is estimation of the serum bilirubin. Before going to know the estimation of serum bilirubin, you should know about the hemoglobin, how to form the heme and synthesis of heme and degradation of heme, and lastly is a final is the estimation of bilirubin. Now, so the heme is the red blood pigment. So this is found in erythrocytes. If you see the normal values is males is 14 to 16 grams per deciliter, females containing 13 to 50 grams deciliter. So it involves the two important functions, that is deliver the gases, that is deliver the oxygen from the lungs to the tissues and transport the carbon dioxide and protons from tissues to lungs for excretion. This is quite opposite to the oxygen. So oxygen is delivered from the lungs to the tissues and carbon dioxide and protons are from tissues to the lungs for excretion. Now, so the structure of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a conjugated protein. The name itself indicates hemoglobin. Heme plus globin. It is a conjugated. That is, hemoglobin is a conjugated protein. It consists of two molecules, globin part and heme part. Globin is a protein part. Heme is a non-protein part. So, hence it is a hemoglobin is a conjugated protein. So, the molecular weight of the hemoglobin is 64,450 and it is a tetrameric allosteric protein. Now, see the structure of individual globin and heme. Globin consists of the 4 polypeptide chains. See here it is 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are the 4 polypeptide chains. And here it is, these 4 polypeptide chains are interconnected with the hydrophobic, ionic and hydrogen bonds. Interconnected with the, that is primarily hydrophobic, ionic and hydrogen bonds. So these are the globin consists of 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. This is the alpha chains, this is the beta chain. The globin is made up of amino acids, that is each alpha chain containing the 141 amino acids, beta chain containing the 146 amino acids. So altogether, adult hemoglobin contains the 574 amino acids. And each molecule of globin consists of a heme group. So altogether 4 units of the hemoglobin contain the 4 molecules of heme. Now structure of the heme. So the characteristic of red color due to the hemoglobin due to the presence of heme. Heme contain the porphyrin molecule. You should know the regarding details about the porphyrin. What is the porphyrin? Porphyrin is an organic chemical with formula C20H14N4. It is an aromatic and heterocyclic compound. So it is a organic chemical compound. If you see the molecular formula C20H4, that is carbons are 20, hydrogens are 14, nitrogen 4. It is an aromatic and heterocyclic compound. See here it is aromatic heterocyclic. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the porphyrin structure, heterocyclic compound. This heterocyclic compound made up with the 4 pyrrole rings. This is the pyrrole ring. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4 pyrrole rings. These 4 pyrrole rings are interconnected with the methylene bridges. See here is represented as alpha, beta, gamma and delta. So here it is, these 4 pyrrole rings are interconnected with the methylene bridges. 1, 2, 3, 4. There is the methylene bridges, alpha, beta, gamma and delta. So each pyrrole ring consists of a side chains. These are substituted with the hydrogen atoms. 1, substitute with the hydrogen atoms. The side chains are present at here. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So 8 side, here it is the side chains are present on the each pyrrole ring. These are substituted with the hydrogen atoms. Now the iron is present at the center of the porphyrin. Here it is bind up with the nitrogen atoms. The iron bind up with the nitrogen atoms. Iron with the nitrogen atoms. So hemoglobin containing the iron porphyrin, such as a heme of the hemoglobin. So heme containing the iron containing porphyrin, and chlorophyll containing the magnesium containing porphyrin, cobalamin containing the cobalt containing porphyrin. See here it is a human blood contain the hemoglobin. Here it is called is a heme containing porphyrin. Plant chlorophyll containing the magnesium containing chlorophyll. Vitamin B12, that is cobalamin containing the cobalt containing porphyrin. Now see the structure of heme. So heme contains the porphyrin molecule. Protoporphyrin 9 with iron is a center. There is the protoporphyrin 9. So iron is center. It is bind up with the nitrogen molecule. When iron is complexed with the protoporphyrin 9, it is called the heme. So when the protoporphyrin 9 contain the iron at the center is known as a heme. Protoporphyrin 9 consists of 4 pyrrole rings, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And 4 methyl groups, 1, 2, 3 and 4. 2 propionyl groups, here it is a 1, 2. These are the 2 propionyl groups, 2 vinyl groups. You see here it is a 2 vinyl groups. Now see the heme synthesis. Heme synthesis takes place in the liver and bone marrow. So heme is the most important porphyrin containing compound. So synthesis takes place in the liver and bone marrow. Now see the steps of the heme synthesis. First one, formation of delta aminolevolinate, that is the ALA. Next one is synthesis of porphobilinogen. And third one is formation of porphyrin ring. And fourth one is conversion of uroporphyrinogen 3 to protoporphyrin 9. And the last one is synthesis of heme from the protoporphyrin 9. Now see the formation of heme. Succinyl-CoA and glycine are the precursors for the formation of heme. So these two are condensed with together produce the ALA, that is the delta aminolevolinate. This reaction is catalyzed by the ALA synthase, that is the delta aminolevolinate synthase. Here it is a succinyl-CoA is an intermediate of the succinyl citric acid cycle. Glycine is a non-essential amino acid. Glycine is a non-essential amino acid. This ALA aminolevolinate synthase is a PP-dependent enzyme. PP means is pyridoxal phosphate-dependent enzyme. Don't forget that is delta aminolevolinate synthase is a PP-dependent enzyme. That is a pyridoxal phosphate-dependent enzyme. This reaction occurs in mitochondria. The formation of ALA occurs in mitochondria. See here it is a formation of porphobilinogen. For these two molecules of delta aminolevolinate condensation together produce the porphobilinogen. This reaction is catalyzed by the delta aminolevolinate dehydratase, that is ALA dehydratase. So this one is a zinc containing enzyme. Don't forget ALA dehydratase is a zinc containing enzyme. This is sensitive to the lead. So the action of the ALA dehydratase inhibited by the lead. Now see the formation of bilirubin. For this is 4 molecules of porphobilinogen condensation together produce the porphyrin, and this porphyrin is interlinked with the methylene bridges. This reaction is catalyzed by the uroporphyrinogen 1 synthase and uroporphyrinogen co-synthase 3. Uroporphyrinogen synthase, that is 1, and uroporphyrinogen co-synthase 3. Now see the formation of conversion of uroporphyrinogen 3 to protoporphyrin 9. Conversion of uroporphyrin 3 to protoporphyrin 9. In this, so uroporphyrinogen decarboxylates the, here it is the decarboxylates the 4 acetyl side chains. 1, 2, here it is 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 acetyl side chains are decarboxylates to 4 methyl groups. See here it is 1, 2, 3 and 4. So these acetyl side chains are replaced with the methyl groups 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now see the formation of protoporphyrin from the coproporphyrin 3. So here it is the conversion of coproporphyrin to protoporphyrin 3. See here it is 2 of At this point is reduced the methynyl bridges. At this point, methynyl bridges are reduced. Now see the formation of protoporphyrin into protoporphyrinase. Protoporphyrin oxidase is reduces the, see here it is, 2 of propionyl to vinyl groups. See here it is. Propionyl groups are replaced with the vinyl groups. 2 of, that is TWO2, 2 of propionyl groups to vinyl groups. Now see the formation of heme from the protoporphyrin 9. Here it is a ferric form of heme attached with the protoporphyrin 9 produce the heme. This reaction is catalyzed by the ferrochelatase. This reaction is catalyzed by the ferrochelatase. So now form the heme. So heme containing the iron, here it is at the center of the porphyrin. Now see what are the reactions takes place in the mitochondria and cytosol during the synthesis of heme. So formation of delta aminolevulinate takes place in the mitochondria, and formation of heme from the protoporphyrinogen 9-2 and from the protoporphyrin 9, and reactions that takes place in the cytosol, porphobilinogen 2, coproporphobilinogen 3. Formation of coproporphyrin 3 from the porphobilinogen. So these reactions that takes place in the cytosol. Now see the regulation of heme synthesis. So regulation of heme synthesis by feedback mechanism and repression of ALA synthase, that is nothing but is a decrease the ALA synthase, and inhibition of transport of ALA synthase from cytosol to mitochondria. Inhibition of transport of ALA synthase from the cytosol to mitochondria. Now see the porphyrias. You should know the difference between the porphyrias and porphyrins. Porphyrias are the disease. Porphyrin is a chemical compound. So porphyrias are the disease. Porphyrin is a chemical compound. So porphyrias are the metabolic disorders of the heme synthesis. That is the abnormalities of the heme synthesis. So in this condition, increase the excretion of porphyrins or porphyrin precursors. Increase the excretion of porphyrins or porphyrin precursors. So this may be either inherited or acquired. These are classified into erythropoietic porphyrias and hepatic porphyrias. In erythropoietic porphyrias, enzyme deficiency occurs in the erythrocytes. In hepatic porphyrias, enzyme defect in the liver. Now see the types of porphyrias. Congenital erythropoietic porphyria, acute intermediate porphyria, porphyria cutanea terta, hereditary coproporphyria, variegative porphyria, and protoporphyria. So what are they? Congenital erythropoietic porphyria, acute intermediate porphyria, porphyria cutanea terta, hereditary coproporphyria, variegative porphyria, and protoporphyria. Now see the each individual. Congenital erythropoietic porphyria. This is mainly due to the deficiency of uroporphyrinogen 3 co-synthase. Due to the deficiency of uroporphyrinogen 3 co-synthase. So this is a rare congenital disorder. The individuals are excrete uroporphyrinogen 1 and coproporphyrinogen 1. Both are excreted. That is uroporphyrinogen 1 and coproporphyrinogen 1. So which are oxidized to, that is uroporphyrinogen 1 and coproporphyrinogen 1 oxidized to uroporphyrin 1 and coproporphyrin 1. Oxidized to uroporphyrin 1 and coproporphyrin 1. The patients are photosensitive. Why the patients are photosensitive? Due to the abnormal porphyrins that accumulate and increase the hemolysis. The patients are photosensitive when exposed to the light due to the abnormal porphyrins accumulate and increase the hemolysis. So this is the actually congenital erythropoietic porphyria on teeth. See here it is reddish brown and discoloration of teeth. This is a congenital erythropoietic porphyria on teeth. Acute intermediate porphyria. This is mainly due to the deficiency of uroporphyrinogen 1 synthase. Uroporphyrinogen 1 synthase. In this condition, increased the excretion of phosphobinogen and ALA, that is delta aminolevolinate, and urine gets darkened when exposed to the air. So when exposed to the air, then in this phosphobinogen convert to the porphobilin and porphyrin. Porphobilin and porphyrin. So when the urine gets darkened exposed to the air, the conversion of porphobinogen to porphobilin and porphyrin. The other characteristic features are, it is usually expressed in after puberty in humans, and the symptoms are include abdominal pain, vomiting, and cardiovascular abnormalities. Cardiovascular abnormalities. Now see the treatment, that is the administration of hematin, which inhibits the ALA synthase and accumulation of porphobinogen. So inhibits the ALA synthase and accumulation of porphobinogen. Inhibit the accumulation of porphobinogen. So here it is, acute intermediate porphyria. Symptoms are abdominal pain, acute abdominal pain, colic and vomiting, and urine colorization. Here it is, urine color and sight affected, psychosis and odd behaviors, seizures, fever. These are the conditions, symptoms. Now see the porphyria cutanea. This is also known as cutaneous hepatic porphyria. This is mainly due to the liver damage. This is mainly due to the liver damage. The liver damage causes the alcohol consumption, over alcohol consumption, or iron overload. The consumption of alcohol is over, or otherwise is iron overload. And also partially deficiency of uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase. Partially deficiency of uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase. Now see the features. Increase the excretion of uroporphyrin 1 and 3, and rarely porphobinogen. Increase the excretion of uroporphyrins, that is 1 and 3. So both are increase the excretion, and rarely porphobinogen levels are also increased. And cutaneous photosensitivity. The skin is photosensitivity is the most important clinical manifestations of these patients. Cutaneous photosensitivity. And also liver exhibit the fluorescence. Why liver exhibit the fluorescence? Because of the high concentration of accumulated porphyrins. High concentration of accumulated porphyrins. So here it is. Hands of male patients with the porphyria cutaneous delta. So here when exposed to the light, here it is a skin become a photosensitized, burns, see here it is, and blisters easily. Now see the hereditary coproporphyria. This is mainly due to the defect in the enzyme coproporphyrinogen oxidase. Mainly due to the deficiency in the enzyme coproporphyrinogen oxidase. Here it is this is the patient urine, this is the normal urine. So urine from the HCP, that is the hereditary coproporphyria, patients assume an intense red fluorescence with exposure to the long wavelength UV light. When patients urine exposed to the long wavelength UV light assumes an intense red fluorescence. Intense red fluorescence. This is the patient urine. This is the normal. So here it is variegate porphyria. This is mainly due to the deficiency of enzyme protoporphyrinogen oxidase. Protoporphyrinogen oxidase. So the protoporphyrin 9 is not produced. When the protoporphyrinogen oxidase is enzyme deficiency, then leads to the protoporphyrin 9 is not produced. And also all the intermediates of the heme synthesis accumulates in the body and are excreted in urine and feces. The intermediates of the heme, porphobinogen, coproporphyrin, uroporphyrin, and protoporphyrin. These are all accumulate during the heme synthesis in the body and are excreted in urine and feces. The urine of these patients is colored and they are exhibit photosensitivity. Now see the protoporphyria. This mainly also known as the erythropoietic porphyria, erythropoietic photoporphyria. So this is caused by the deficiency of the enzyme ferrochelatase. deficiency of the enzyme ferrochelatase. So protoporphyrin 9 is accumulates in the tissues and is excreted into the urine and fecus. So protoporphyrin 9 is accumulates in the tissues and excreted into the urine and fecus. Now see the acquired or toxic porphyrias. The porphyrias are acquired due to the toxicity of the several compounds. So when they expose the body to heat metals, toxic compounds and drugs inhibits many enzymes in heme synthesis. So when the expose the body to heat metals, toxic compounds and drugs inhibits the many enzymes in heme synthesis. Now see the schematic diagram. Erythropoietic. Here it is congenital erythropoietic porphyria comes under the erythropoietic porphyrias. And here it is enzyme deficiency, uroporphyrinogen 1 synthase and uroporphyrinogen 2 synthase. And symptoms are darkening of urine upon standing, abdominal pain, vomiting, and here it is cardiovascular abnormalities. Now see the hepatic. Acute intermediate porphyria. In these enzyme deficiencies, uroporphyrinogen 1 synthase is deficiency and urine is red due to the oxidation of porphobilinogen on exposure to the light. Abdominal pain, vomiting, and here it is acute and paralysis. Now see the hereditary coproporphyria. This is also comes under the hepatic. And here it is the enzyme deficiency coproporphyrinogen oxidase. And the symptoms is cutaneous hypersensitivity to light. And variegative porphyria comes under the hepatic. Here it is a deficiency is the enzyme protoporphyrinogen oxidase. Protoporphyrinogen oxidase. No symptoms. And porphyria cutaneous stata. This is comes under the hepatic. Uroporphyrinogen decarboxylase is the deficiency. And chin is pink color or brown color. And hepatic damage and accumulation of iron, photosensitivity of the skin. Toxic porphyria, there are no symptoms, but it is variable enzyme deficiency. So protoporphyria, this is comes under the both the erythropoietic and hepatic. Here it is enzyme deficiency, the ferrochelatase is absent or defect or less. Now see the degradation of heme. So actually the lifespan of the erythrocytes is 120 days. At the end of period, they should be removed from the circulation. For this purpose, they are entered into the spleen and liver. At this point is erythrocytes are taken up and degraded by the macrophages of the reticuloendothelial system, that is in the spleen and liver. So the hemoglobin cleaved in the two parts, that is globin part and non-protein part, that is the heme, globin part and heme part. Globin is here it is a protein part and heme is a non-protein part. Generally about the 6 grams of hemoglobin per day is broken down and resynthesized in adult man, that is about the 70 kgs. Fate of globin and fate of heme. Now see the fate of globin. The globin may be reutilized as such for the formation of hemoglobin or degrade to the individual amino acids. Individual amino acids. See here it is. So globin reutilized for the hemoglobin formation or degrade to individual amino acids. Now source of the heme, 80% from the erythrocytes, the remaining rest of the 20% come from the immature RBCs. Immature RBCs. Now see the steps of heme degradation. Formation of bilirubin, uptake of bilirubin, conjugation of bilirubin, fate of bilirubin. The fate of bilirubin is secretion of bilirubin into bile, formation of urobilins in the intestine, excretion in urine and stool. So here it is, azed erythrocytes in the macrophages of the liver, it is degrade to, so heme and globin. This globin part is utilized for the formation, reutilized for the synthesis of hemoglobin or degrade to the individual amino acids. See individual amino acids. The sources of heme, that is 80% is from the hemoglobin, erythrocytes, and rest of the 20% from the immature RBCs. Now see the formation of biliverdin. Formation of biliverdin. Heme oxygenase. This is utilize the oxygen and NADPH. Use utilize the oxygen and NADPH. It cleaves the methylene bridges between the two pyrrole rings. Between the two pyrrole rings, that is the A and B. So it cleaves the methylene bridges between the A and B pyrrole rings. Ultimately, produce the, here it is, oxidize the ferrous form of iron to ferric form and also carbon monoxide. So the heme oxygenase. So the products of heme oxygenase, the iron, carbon monoxide and biliverdin. So biliverdin is a green color pigment. Biliverdin is a green color pigment. Now see the formation of bilirubin from the biliverdin. So this reaction is catalyzed by the biliverdin reductase. This is a biliverdin reductase is a NADPH dependent enzyme. Don't forget biliverdin reductase is a NADPH dependent enzyme. This is also reduce the methylene bridges between the C and D. C and D produce the bilirubin. Now the formation of the bilirubin albumin complex. Now the bilirubin enter into the plasma. Here it is bind up with the albumin, form the bilirubin albumin complex. Actually, albumin contain the two sites, that is a high affinity site and low affinity site. At the high affinity site, the 25% of the bilirubin bind, and at the low affinity site, the rest of the low concentration, that is the low bilirubin levels are attached with the low affinity site of the albumin. Now see this bilirubin albumin complex enter into the liver. Here it is a dissociated from the albumin. This bilirubin is again conjugated with the two molecules of glucuronic acid. This reaction is catalyzed by the bilirubin glucuronide transferase. This is UDP dependent enzyme. Don't forget, this is a UDP dependent. Bilirubin glucuronide transferase is a UDP dependent enzyme. Biliverdin reductase is a NADPH dependent enzyme. So bilirubin is conjugated with the two molecules of glucuronic acid, produce the bilirubin diglucuronide. This bilirubin diglucuronide enter into the bile. Now this bilirubin diglucuronide in the intestine, it is converted to the urobilinogen by microbial enzyme. This urobilinogen in the kidneys is converted to urobilin. This urobilin excreted through the urine. The urine color is mainly due to the urobilin. Presence of urobilin. Now this urobilinogen converted to is a stercobilin. This stercobilin is as a excreted through the fecus. The fecus color mainly presence of stercobilin. Now see the plasma bilirubin. The normal value of plasma levels are total bilirubin is 0.2 to 0.8 milligrams per deciliter. Unconjugated bilirubin is 0.2 to 0.6 milligrams per deciliter. The conjugated bilirubin is 0 to 0.2 milligrams per deciliter. Here it is, total bilirubin is 0.2 to 0.8 milligrams. Unconjugated and conjugated. Here it is, unconjugated bilirubin is 0.2 to 0.6 milligrams per deciliter. Conjugated bilirubin is 0 to 0.2 milligrams per deciliter. When the plasma bilirubin levels are increased more than 1 milligram per deciliter is known as hyperbiliruria. If the levels are between the 1 to 2 milligrams per deciliter, this leads to the latent jaundice. If the levels are more than 2 milligrams per deciliter, bilirubin diffuses into the tissues, producing the yellowish discolorization of sclera, conjunctiva, skin, and mucous membrane, resulting in jaundice. So bilirubin, when the levels are more than 2 milligrams per deciliter, bilirubin diffuses into the tissues and producing the yellowish discolorization, sclera, conjunctiva, skin and mucous membranes, resulting in the jaundice. Jaundice or icterus, both are same. These are three types: hemolytic jaundice, hepatocellular jaundice, and obstructive jaundice. Jaundice or icterus, both are same. So they are classified into three major types, that is hemolytic jaundice, hepatic jaundice, and obstructive jaundice. In hemolytic jaundice, it is mainly associated with the increased the hemolysis of erythrocytes. In hemolytic jaundice, increased the hemolysis of erythrocytes and also overproduction of bilirubin. This overproduction of bilirubin means is that is beyond the ability of the liver to conjugate. The overproduction of bilirubin beyond the ability of the liver to conjugate and excrete the same. And liver shows the large capacity to conjugate about 3 grams of bilirubin per day against the normal bilirubin production of 0.3 grams per day. Now see the here it is hemolytic jaundice. More bilirubin is excreted into the bile, leading to the increase in the formation of urobilinogen and stercobilinogen. In this condition, urobilinogen and stercobilinogen levels are increased, and the characteristics are here it is. Serum unconjugated bilirubin levels are increased. Serum unconjugated bilirubin levels are increased, and increased the excretion of urobilinogen in urine. So increase the excretion of urobilinogen in urine and dark brown color of fecus. Dark brown color of fecus. So the here it is the serum unconjugated bilirubin levels are increased. Increase the excretion of urobilinogen in urine and dark color of fecus. So why dark color of fecus? Due to the high content of stercobilinogen. Due to the high content of stercobilinogen. So here are the key points. Prehepatic jaundice is most commonly caused by the hemolytic disease. And here it is a bilirubin is not excreted in urine. That is unconjugated bilirubin not excreted in urine. And but urinary urobilinogen concentration is increased. Urinary urobilinogen concentration is increased. Now see the hepatic jaundice or hepatocellular jaundice. This mainly dysfunction of the liver. This is mainly caused by the dysfunction of the liver. The dysfunction of the liver is causes viral infection, so poisonous and toxins, cirrhosis of liver, cardiac failure, etc. The main cause of liver dysfunction, that is viral infection, poisons and toxins, cirrhosis of liver, cardiac failure, and etc. And in this condition, conjugated and unconjugated bilirubin levels are increased in serum. Conjugated and unconjugated bilirubin levels. So here it is unconjugated bilirubin levels are increased in, here it is hemolytic jaundice, here it is, so unconjugated bilirubin levels are increased in hemolytic jaundice. Here it is both, that is conjugated and unconjugated bilirubin levels are increased in the serum. Dark color urine, there, here it is a dark color fecus in hemolytic jaundice. In hepatic jaundice, dark colored urine due to the excessive excretion of bilirubin and urobilinogen. So then hemolytic jaundice, dark color fecus, and here it is a, see here it is, which conjugated, that is unconjugated bilirubin levels are increased. Increased the excretion of urobilinogen urine. But in hepatic jaundice, both conjugated and unconjugated, they are unconjugated. But here it is conjugated and unconjugated bilirubin levels are increased. There is dark color fecus. In hepatic is dark color urine due to the excessive excretion of bilirubin and urobilinogen. See the key points. Here it is both the conjugated and unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia may occur in hepatocellular jaundice. Bilirubin and excess urobilinogen may be found in urine. Bilirubin and excess urobilinogen may be found in urine. See the obstructive jaundice. Obstructive or regurgitation or cholestatic jaundice. All are same. Obstructive or regurgitation or cholestatic jaundice. This is mainly due to the obstruction in the bile duct. This is mainly due to the obstruction in the bile duct. The obstruction is causes mainly formation of gallstones and tumors. Mainly formation of gallstones and tumors. In this condition, increase the concentration of conjugated bilirubin in serum. Increase the concentration of conjugated bilirubin. The first one is, so unconjugated bilirubin levels are increased in serum. And second one is both the conjugated and unconjugated levels are increased in serum. But here it is an obstructive jaundice, conjugated bilirubin levels are increased in the serum. And also here it is one enzyme levels are also increased, that is the alkaline phosphatases levels are increased in serum. Alkaline phosphatase levels also increased in serum. And dark colored urine due to the elevated excretion of bilirubin. So the first one is dark color fetus, and the second one is dark color urine, and third one, that is obstructive jaundice, also contains dark colored urine. And clay color fecus. So dark color urine and clay color fecus. Clay color fecus mainly due to the absence of stercobilinogen. Fecus contain the excess fat, that is indicate the impairment in fat digestion and absorption. Due to the impairment of fat and fat digestion and absorption in the absence of bile. Say it is the jaundice due to the genetic defects. That is the neonatal physiologic jaundice. It is mainly due to the low content of UDP glucuronide transferase. So UDP glucuronide transferase availability is low in newborn, and also limitation in the availability of the UDP glucuronic acid for conjugation. So limitation in the availability of the UDP glucuronic acid for conjugation. Serum conjugated bilirubin is highly elevated. Serum conjugated bilirubin is serum unconjugated bilirubin levels are highly elevated. And when the serum unconjugated bilirubin levels are highly elevated, then cross the blood-brain barrier. This leads to the hyperbilirubemic toxic encephalopathy or Kenrichtus. And the drug phenobarbital used to the treatment of neonatal jaundice. The neonatal jaundice is treated by using is phototherapy. So in this, bilirubin and absorb blue light at 420 to 470 nanometers. So phototherapy deals with the exposure of the jaundiced neonates to blue light. Exposure of the jaundiced neonates to blue light by a process is called the photoisomerization. So neonates are exposed to, that is, jaundiced neonates exposed to blue light by a process is called the photoisomerization. In this, toxic native unconjugated bilirubin. So when exposed the jaundiced neonates to the blue light, so toxic native unconjugated bilirubin gets converted into a non-toxic isomers. So toxic native unconjugated bilirubin convert into non-toxic isomer. The non-toxic isomer is a lumiribin. That is the lumiribin. This is the namely lumiribin. So when the jaundiced neonates are exposed to the blue light, here it is the native unconjugated bilirubin gets converted into a non-toxic isomer. This is the lumiribin. This lumiribin can easily excreted by the kidneys in the unconjugated form. So lumiribin can easily excreted by the kidneys in the unconjugated form. Serum bilirubin should be monitored every 12 to 24 hours in neonates, and phototherapy is continuously carried out till the serum bilirubin levels becomes normal, that is below the 1 milligrams per deciliter. You should observe the neonates and continuously carried out till the serum bilirubin becomes normal, that is below the 1 milligrams per deciliter. And bilirubin should be monitored every 12 to 24 hours. Actually, phototherapy is two types, that is conventional phototherapy and fiber optic phototherapy. In conventional phototherapy, in newborn is laid under a halogen lamp or fluorescent lamp with their eyes covered. In fiber optic phototherapy, newborn lies on blanket. This blanket incorporates fiber optic cables. This blanket contains the fiber optic cables. So light is traveled through the fiber optic cables and shines on to baby's back. So there are two types, that is conventional phototherapy and fiber optic phototherapy. In conventional phototherapy, so newborn is laid under the halogen or fluorescent lamp with their eyes are covered. But in fiber optic phototherapy, so blanket containing the fiber optic cables, that is the cables, fiber optic cables, the light is travels through the fiber optic cables and shines onto the baby's back. So in most of the cases, conventional phototherapy is used. Most of the cases, conventional phototherapy is usually tried first. And second one is fiber optic phototherapy used if baby was born prematurely. Fiber optic phototherapy used if baby was born prematurely. This is the phototherapy mission. See, here it is. So baby. Now see the Crigler-Najjar syndrome type 1. This is also known as a congenital non-hemolytic jaundice. If you have is a question, so congenital non-hemolytic jaundice, you should write about the Crigler-Najjar syndrome type 1. It is a rare disorder. It is mainly due to the deficiency of UDP glucuronide transferase. UDP glucuronide transferase. But children are die within first 2 years of life, and this is a not within first 2 of life. And now see the Gilbert's disease. This is a not single disorder. It is combination of disorder. Gilbert disease is a combination of disorders. Here it is a defect in the uptake of bilirubin by the liver cells, and also an impairment in conjugation due to the reduced activity of UDP glucuronide transferase. UDP glucuronide transferase. But in Crigler-Najjar syndrome, UDP glucuronide transferase is a defect, and children are die within first 2 years of life. And in Gilbert disease, impairment in conjugation due to the reduced the activity of UDP glucuronide transferase and decrease the hepatic clearance of bilirubin. Decrease the hepatic clearance of bilirubin. Now see the estimation of bilirubin. So the types of, first know the types of bilirubin: direct bilirubin, indirect bilirubin, and total bilirubin. Indirect bilirubin conjugated with the glucuronic acid by means of bilirubin UDP glucuronosyl transferase. Indirect bilirubin unconjugated, this is insoluble in water. Total bilirubin, sum of the direct and indirect of the bilirubin. Now see the estimation of bilirubin by diazo method. This is the endpoint method. See the principle. Bilirubin in serum is coupled with diazotized sulfonic acid. Bilirubin in serum coupled with the diazotized sulfonic acid to form the azobilirubin. This yellow azobilirubin is pink color. The water soluble conjugated bilirubin, direct bilirubin, that is direct one. So the direct bilirubin is a water soluble. Okay, don't forget, direct bilirubin is a water soluble. So the water soluble conjugated bilirubin reacts easily with reagents such as diazotized sulfonic acid. So direct bilirubin reacts easily with the diazotized sulfonic acid. The water insoluble unconjugated bilirubin. So the unconjugated bilirubin is a water insoluble. Water insoluble. Unconjugated bilirubin is a water insoluble. That is indirect bilirubin. So indirect bilirubin requires a solubilizing agent such as caffeine, that is act as a surfactant. So indirect bilirubin required the solubilizing reagent such as a caffeine, that is surfactant, in order to react with the diazotized sulfonic acid. So unconjugated bilirubin or indirect bilirubin, both are same. Unconjugated bilirubin is insoluble in nature, but it requires the solubilizing reagent, that is such as caffeine, that act as a surfactant in order to react with the diazotized sulfonic acid. But direct bilirubin directly reacted with the easily diazotized sulfonic acid, but unconjugated bilirubin, that is indirect bilirubin, it does not directly react with the diazotized sulfonic acid. It requires the solubilizing reagent. In this experiment, the direct bilirubin is estimated in the absence of solubilizing agent, and then further bilirubin estimation in the presence of solubilizing agent will give the total bilirubin. The indirect or conjugated bilirubin and is then found by the difference. So here it is procedure. Mark the take the three test tubes, mark with the as a blank standard and test. Add the one by one working reagent. Take the working reagent 500 microliters. Add all the three test tubes, that is blank, standard, and test. Distilled water, add into the only blank, that is 25 microliters. Standard or calibrated, add into the standard only, that is about 25 microliters. Test, that is a serum or plasma, add into the test, that is about the 25 microliters. Mix well 5 minutes, incubate at 37 degrees Celsius. So, and read the absorbency at 546 and 630 nanometers against the reagent blank. Now see the calculations. You can use the calculations by using factor or calibrator standard. By using with the factors or with the calibrator or standard. Here it is the calculation with the calibrator or oblique standard. Total bilirubin, estimation of the total bilirubin, that is in milligrams per deciliter. Take the readings, that is absorbance of test divided by absorbance of standard into concentration of standard, milligrams per deciliter. Direct bilirubin, that is also estimating milligrams per deciliter. Here it is a take the readings, that is absorbance of the test divided by absorbance of the standard into concentration of standard in milligrams per deciliter. Now see the concentration of indirect bilirubin, that is expressed in the milligrams per deciliter. So concentration of total bilirubin minus concentration of direct bilirubin, it's give the indirect bilirubin. The estimation of indirect bilirubin by calculation, that is concentration of total bilirubin minus concentration of direct bilirubin. Let's give the indirect bilirubin, that is in the milligrams per deciliter. The normal range of here it is indirect bilirubin 0.1 to 0.4 milligrams per deciliter. 0.1 to 0.4 milligrams per deciliter. See the normal values, that is the total bilirubin in adults is 0 to 2.0 milligrams per deciliter. Normal values of total bilirubin in newborn prematures, that is 0 to 1 day, 1 to 8.0 milligrams per deciliter. So 1 to 2 days, that is 6 to 12.0 milligrams per deciliter. 3 to 5 days, 10 to 14.0 milligrams per deciliter. The normal values of total bilirubin in newborns with full term. Sorry, newborns full term. This is a premature babies or premature babies. Here it is full term. Newborns full term, that is 0 to 1 day. So 2 to 6 milligrams per deciliter. 1 to 2 days, 6 to 10.0 milligrams per deciliter. Between 3 to 5 days is, that is it, 4 to 8 milligrams per deciliter. The normal values of direct bilirubin, both the adults and infants, 0 to 0.2 milligrams per deciliter. Now see the overview of the formation of bilirubin. That is a hemoglobin is primarily responsible for the delivery of oxygen from the lungs to the tissues and transport the carbon dioxide from the tissues to the lungs. Heme is the most important porphyrin and primarily synthesized in the liver from the precursors of the glycine and succinyl-CoA. So this glycine and succinyl-CoA is a precursor for the formation of the heme. Don't forget, the heme synthesis takes place in the liver. Heme production is regulated by the ALA, that is delta amino levolinate synthase. So heme production is regulated by the heme delta amino levolinate synthase, that is the ALA synthase. Abnormalities of the heme synthesis is caused by the porphyrias. Abnormalities of the heme synthesis cause the porphyrias. So porphyrin is different, porphyrias is different. Porphyrias is the abnormalities of the heme synthesis. Porphyrin is a chemical compound. So porphyriasis may be erythropoietic or hepatic. Two types, that is erythropoietic or hepatic. Here it is, the porphyrias are erythropoietic or hepatic. These porphyrias are associated with the elevated excretion of porphyrins. So porphyrias are associated with the elevated excretion of porphyrins. So heme is degraded into mainly bilirubin. Bilirubin is a yellowish color bile pigment. So in the liver, it is conjugated to bilirubin. Diglucuronide is a more easily excreted from into bile. So in the liver, it is conjugated to bilirubin diglucuronide. It is more easily excretable form into bile. So jaundice is a clinical condition. This is caused by the elevated serum bilirubin concentration. That is, the normal value is less than 1.0 milligrams per deciliter. If the level is increased more than 2 milligrams per deciliter, that clinically it is a jaundice. So here in jaundice, so serum bilirubin concentration is increased. The characterized by yellow coloration of white of the eyes and skin. Jaundice are three types, that is hemolytic jaundice, hepatic jaundice, and obstructive jaundice. In hemolytic jaundice, increases the hemolysis. In hepatic jaundice, due to the impaired the conjugation. In obstructive jaundice, due to the obstruction in the bile duct. Due to the obstruction in the bile duct. Phototherapy. This phototherapy is used to neonatal jaundice. So this is used to control the severe cases of neonatal physiologic jaundice. So thank you.